Hi, I'm Kelvin T, and I like to share a bit about my childhood growing up in the Philippines. I was born in San Francisco, but for 7 years, from 2000 to 2007, the Philippines was where I truly grew up. My early years were filled with the warmth of family gathering, lively neighborhood games, and the simple joy of a close-knit community. Those years shaped a big part of who I am, and even now, every time I visit, it feels like coming home. My story begins in two places: San Francisco, where I was born on 1998, and the Philippines, where my life really started to take a shape. Before I was born, my mom came back from the Philippines to the United States just in time for my arrival. My older brother had been born a year before in July 1997, so we were always close in age. Then in March 2000, my mom brought me back to Calibo, Aklan to reconnect with my family and introduce me to the world she grew up in. This is where I met my dad, my older brother, and the rest of my family in Calibo for the first time. While my mom returned to the US to work overseas, she left me in the Philippines with my dad, my brother, and a large extended family. I stay at my grandparents' house on my mom's side in a village called Tigayan. My dad was nearby, and my older brother lived with my aunt, my dad's elder sister, just down the street. My nanny, Helen, was a huge part of my life during those years. She was like a second mother to me, taking care of me, preparing meals, and making sure I got to school. Helen treated me as if I were her own, and her kindness and care meant to the world to me. My education started at Holy Child Nursery and Kindergarten School in Calibo from 2003 to 2005. It was my first experience with the structure of school life, and I loved the warmth of my teacher and the joy of making friends. I was the tallest kid in my class, which sometimes made my classmates think I was older than them. After graduating from kindergarten, I went on to St. Annie Montessori, a private school in Calibo, for first grade. Then, in 2006, I transferred to Tigayan Elementary School, a public school close to my home, where I continue in second and part of third grade before moving back to the United States. One of the things that brings me back to my childhood in the Philippines is the food and the outdoor games we played. We didn't have gadget like kids do now, so we spend hours outside playing tag, pantintero, and hide and seek with other kids in the village. I also play with my cousin a lot, and whenever my mom would visit from United States, she would take us to Boracay Beach. It was just a couple of hours away, but spending a few days there with my family was always a highlight. And then there was the food. My grandmother on my father's side cooked the most incredible Filipino dishes: adobo, pork sinigang, kare-kare, lumpia, and pancit. The smell of her cooking still stick with me. She even taught me how to cook some of these dishes. Sadly, she passed away almost 5 years ago, but her cooking and her presence are still I always remember. I also miss the Filipino street foods and snack I used to buy outside of the wet market. My time in Philippines eventually came to an end. In December 2007, my mom returned to bring our family back together. My dad, my older brother, and I all traveled to United States with her on the same day, reuniting our family in San Francisco. Our family grew with the addition of my two younger brothers, born 2008 and 2010. Even though I was back in the US, I still felt deeply connected to Filipino culture. Those years in the Philippines gave me a strong sense of identity and belonging. Growing up surrounded by Filipino culture, I felt more connected to its value and rhythms. It was a place where I felt a strong sense of belonging. For almost 8 years, I was immersed in the rich culture and everyday life of Filipino provincial town. This journey from San Francisco to Calibo, Philippines came full circle when I returned to the United States in December 2007. Even thought I'd been back for years. The mention of my time in the Philippines stay with me. They remind me of my roots, the warmth of family, and the joy of growing up surrounded by a community that truly shaped me.